something truly extraordinary in store for you. It's the life experiences of an individual who has faced some of the most harrowing and unsettling incidents imaginable. Prepare to be drawn into a world where the line between reality and the supernatural blurs. Sit back, relax, and let us take you on a chilling exploration of true terror. Have you ever felt that cold, sinking feeling when you're alone in the dark? That moment when you pull the covers up just a little tighter because something doesn't feel right? This is the story of Sarah, a woman who had just moved into her new apartment. It was small but cozy, and for the first time in years, she felt like she was starting fresh. But from the very first night, something felt off. It started with small things she could almost explain away. A faint scratching sound under the bed, the feeling of being watched as she drifted off to sleep. Her cat, once calm and affectionate, would hiss at the empty space beneath the bed, its fur standing on end. Sarah told herself it was just her imagination, but deep down, she knew something was there, and it was getting closer. One night, Sarah woke up to the sound of her name being whispered, not from the hallway, not from the window, but from under the bed. She froze, her heart pounding in her chest. The whispers were faint but unmistakable. Sarah. She grabbed her phone, her hands shaking as she turned on the flashlight. The beam of light pierced the darkness, but there was nothing there, just an empty space. Or so she thought. The next morning, Sarah tried to convince herself it was just a dream, but the scratches on the floor under the bed told a different story. Days turned into weeks, and the whispers grew louder. Sarah stopped sleeping, her paranoia consuming she tried to move the bed, to block off the space beneath it, but nothing worked. The shadow was always there, waiting. One night, Sarah woke up to a freezing room. Her breath fogged in the air, and the whispers became screams. She tried to move, to scream, but her body was paralyzed. The shadow stretched toward her, its hollow eyes locking onto hers. Sarah, you've always been mine. The next morning, Sarah woke up on the floor, her body bruised and her sheets shredded. Her cat was gone, the shadow was gone, but the feeling of being watched never left. Sarah moved out the next day, leaving the apartment. To this day, Sarah says she can feel it lurking in the corners of her mind, waiting for the lights to go out. And if you ever hear your name whispered in the dark, don't look, don't move, because once it knows you're listening, it will never let you go.
Could you imagine how it feels when you're home alone and everything feels just a little too quiet, like the walls are holding their breath, waiting for something to happen? That's how it started for me. My mom and dad went on an official trip and didn't return for 2 to 3 days. Since I was grown up, I was left alone at home. It was a Tuesday night. I was sitting on the couch, scrolling through my phone, when I heard it. A knock at the door. Just 3 soft taps, like someone was being polite. I wasn't expecting anyone, so I hesitated. Maybe it was a neighbor or a delivery person who got the wrong address. I looked through the people, but no one was there. I opened the door just a crack, and the hallway was empty. Weird, but not unheard of, right? I shrugged it off and went back to the couch. 10 minutes later, it happened again. 3 knocks, a little louder this time. I checked the peephole again. Nothing. I even stepped outside and looked down the hallway. Still nothing. That's when I started to feel it. That prickling sensation on the back of my neck, like I was being watched. I locked the door and tried to forget about it. But then it happened again, and again. Every 10 minutes, like clockwork. 3 knocks, each time louder than the last. By the fourth time, I was too scared to answer. I just sat there, staring at the door, waiting for it to stop. That's when I heard the voice. It was faint, almost like a whisper, but I could hear it clearly. "Let me in," it said. My blood ran cold. I didn't recognize the voice, but there was something about it, something familiar, like I'd heard it in a dream. I called the police, but when they arrived, the knocking had stopped. They checked the hallway, the building, even the security cameras. Nothing. No one was there. They told me it was probably kids playing a prank and left, but I knew it wasn't. The knocking sound started again the next night. This time, it wasn't just at the door. It was at the windows, the walls, even the ceiling. And the voice, it was louder now, more insistent. "Let me in," it kept saying. I tried to ignore it. I turned up the TV, put on headphones, but nothing drowned it out. It was like the sound was coming from inside my head. Last night, I couldn't take it anymore. I screamed at the door, "Who are you? What do you want?" The knocking stopped. For a moment, there was silence. Then the voice spoke again, clearer than ever. "I'm already inside. I don't know what to do. I can't sleep. I can't eat. Every time I close my eyes, I hear the knocking. And the voice, it's always there, whispering, waiting." Then I immediately went to my neighbor's house and asked if I could stay there that night after explaining everything that happened. The next day, my parents came back, and I told them everything. The thing I hate the most is that they still didn't believe me. So, if you ever hear 3 knocks at your door, don't answer. Don't even look. Because once you do, it won't stop. And by the time you realize what's happening, it'll already be too late.
Have you ever experienced something like this before? Share your story in the comments. And if you enjoy this video, do like and subscribe to our channel for more videos like these. See you in the next video.